This episode of Trials and Trebuchets is brought to you by Fanroll Dice. If you're in the market for some new, top-notch dice, and who am I kidding, folks? We're all always on the prowl for some shiny rocks, then look no further than fanrolldice.com. Whether it's their bewitching liquid cores, a pack of trusty misfit medals, or even a set of oh-so-endearing miniature dice, you'll find anything you're looking for and more at fanrolldice.com. And don't forget to use our code TRIALS10 at checkout for 10% off your order of new little crit machines. Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 228 of Trials and Trebuchets. I'm your dungeon master, Luke. Joining me are my players.
Hi, my name is Ben, and I play the level 12 gnome wizard Winstan Wallaby, along with his cuddly little companion, Mr. Wiggles, the known troublemaker.
I'm not a dungeon, nor am I a master, but it's me, Carla, and I play the level 12 tiefling roguelike integrity, Idleberry. And here is a song for you.
For me.
Stars shining bright above you. Island breezes seem to whisper, I've got you. Snakes threatening in the slick, oily stream. Dream a little dream of me. I had to listen to it because, I suck.
No.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I play Mira Marchand, the level 12 half-elf bard. We were having a lot of trouble finding the place, and now we finally have the location. And I just want to say, shout out to the I'm getting a correction from HQ. Shout out to Integrity Idleberry's incredible intuition.
Hi guys, my name is Sam, and I play the level 12 human sorceress Serinepth Cinderman. Welcome to this lovely island, and wait, why are we here?
And last time on Trials and Trebuchets, or Trials and Trebuchets, if you're feeling it, Serinepth Cinderman arrived at her tropical beach house and got to know Wishing Star Island and the new and improved Philip Maisel. Meanwhile, back at campus, the other students gathered information about their vanished friends' whereabouts and how to get there via their patrons, both monetarily and warlockily, and arcane investigation of sigils, deciding to take the plunge. But after a good night's rest, the trio scribed the teleportation sigil sequence and snuck back to their dormitories, leaving a bundled up golem by the way. We pick up in the morning with you, our trio of intrepid heroes, students, sorry to call you heroes, Winstan Wallaby, Integrity Idleberry, and Mira Marchand. It is the morning. Birds scream outside your windows in a non-relaxing fashion. Hot summer air blows in through the windows. You can all go about your morning business, although sleeping in slightly after a 4 a.m. bedtime. Let's say it's like 10 a.m. You guys wake up, have some brunch at the dining hall, and can be discreet about your affairs.
So, time to continue and do our non-illicit, very normal activity.
Extremely normal, nothing out of the ordinary.
We're gonna do something so normal.
As you guys are all leaving the dining hall, a few scattered people give you some glances of, that's some heavy sarcasm coming off of it. But no one says anything overtly to any of you.
If anyone says anything else, they will get punished.
Okay, I think that might be a bit
totally
much
just
there.
doing normal things.
Okay.
So where is the lucky destination where you would like to depart from your lovely and well-loved campus?
Well, we have a few options. We can either do our room in the chapel.
You could.
Or we could do it in Mira's room.
You could.
Whichever one we think is probably more secure and more out of the public eye.
I had another thought. If we're missing from campus, my thinking is like the first place they will look is our dorms. What if we went somewhere where they wouldn't think to look? Like, what if we did this in the under campus or like in that kitchen area somewhere?
Ooh,
Out
that's a
of plain
good
sight.
idea.
Out of plain sight.
I
That's a great idea.
Let's do that.
Normally.
Let's go to the under campus.
Normally,
I was gonna
of
propose
course.
going to the loft, but
That's good too.
That could also be a good one too.
Somewhere that nobody even knows exists, wouldn't think to look.
Probably would not want to climb up there anyways because of how annoying it is to get up there in the first place.
Of course. We have a lot of options on the table, folks. But we need to set the scene.
I'm up
in
for the
our
loft.
Mind's eye. The loft.
Sure, let's
is
go
a
to the
pretty
loft.
nice
Yeah.
one. Yeah, by all means. You can make your way directly across campus. Most people are in classes right now. It's a sparsely populated place. The three of you are notable on the pathway walking. You see, suspiciously, green-cloaked golems. 2 or 3 of them, in fact. 2 of them seem to be following behind you, and then ahead of you, standing, not at the entrance to the chapel, but per se, around where the evocation department and the infirmary are. The path crosses by that way, sloping around towards like the eastern side, or the western side of campus. There is a golem standing, barring your path, it almost seems, 2 walking up behind you. As you walk forwards, this green cloaked golem almost steps forward. They put a little mechanical hand up like 2 mechanical hands up, trying to get your attention, get in front of you. You hear whirring and buzzing, and no real voice coming from these things. They just seem to be trying to get in your path.
Excuse me, you're blocking our way.
They put one single finger up.
Well, we need to
Yes?
get here for our mentor, Dessa Truebeard, to do work for her, so, can you please, like, step aside?
Could you make a
We're gonna
deception
measure
check?
eggs.
Isn't that actually true,
Make a
though? Isn't
deception
this
check
where our
with
actual
disadvantage.
project
Where our
Please.
actual mentor work is, literally. That is a 13 plus 13, that's a 26 on deception, because I'm now proficient in that.
I see. Was that with
Or,
disadvantage?
with disadvantage, sorry, I didn't hear
I
that part.
apologize. I said that quietly,
Yeah,
yes.
no worries. Second roll's a 15, so, 26.
Fuck! The golem, the finger, like, and you can hear like whirring underneath. They have a worried body posture, it seems. They have a very, almost like a very fully realized body language, and they will lower the finger. You hear whirring and buzzing. They put their hand out as if to offer, like, go forth, and they point over at the path as if they would like you to continue along your way.
Thank you very much for letting us proceed to our egg measuring, egg smelling, egg tasting research.
Taste?
Yeah, I was thinking we could put some of that flavor dust from the gummy bats on the eggs, and then we could, like, see how, like, doing a deceptive, like...
Yes, making deceiving comments. The 3 of you say,
I don't like eggs.
and move on, making egg-related puns and jokes and schemes. This golem and the other 2 follow very hot on your trails. Their hands, and I'm going to stand up for this one just so my hands, their hands are like pursed like this in front of them.
Okay, we'll do, like one over the other.
Grasped almost like in front of their tummy, as if they were a person standing on a balcony looking out and being very nosy about what their neighbors are doing. And they like click, 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 clack. These 3 golems follow quick behind you, hot on your trail. Seemingly, they buy the deception that you need to be somewhere, but are very intent on seeing you to your destination.
Well, good thing we chose this place. Because I'm sure they would be curious if we
I don't
went
know
down
what
there.
they want with us, but I don't think it's anything good.
I know. So the circumference of those eggs, don't you think?
The 3 of you hurry on your path. Is there anything you wanted to do to these poor golems, or are you just gonna allow them to tail you?
I feel
Is
like...
there any like sort of way where like we go around a corner or something?
Yeah, I wonder, like, if we can just be faster than the golems, because I feel like they probably... like, if we just go into a classroom and disappear, like... I don't know how quick they are at going
like try to take
upstairs.
evasive maneuvers.
Well, yeah, I think about like a robot climbing a set of stairs.
Yeah.
I feel like all of us could just like skedaddle up there and get
Yeah.
into that little crow loft section before they could see where
Okay.
we were going.
Yeah.
If that's what you would like to do, and just take off in a dead sprint. Please, for me, make athletics checks.
Oh my god, the eggs are gonna smash! We gotta get there!
And Mira sprints off. The other two, you pick up on the cue. Make athletics checks all around.
What is that?
I can hear the chicks yelling for us.
I can't wait to find you guys all tripped.
Athletics?
Athletics? Yes.
16.
16. Mira?
19.
19.
I have a +5 for that.
18.
Oh,
18?
yes.
Winston, you got 18?
I got
He's
18.
so spry.
Mira takes off in a dead sprint. Integrity, you run after. I can hear the birds. I can hear the chicks calling for me. And Winsler, you grab some tomes under your arm and take the hat off and just
book it.
skedaddle afterwards, keeping pace with your two friends. You hear two of the golems stop and like put up hands and begin to go and kind of like weird alert sounds coming behind them. And then you hear the behind you, probably very quickly outpacing them, but very decidedly behind you, like the of one of these golems like chasing behind you. You make it to the front doors of the chapel. You old chapel, throw them open, slam them shut. You can still hear that as you slam them shut. Windsor Wallaby or Integrity, taking up the rear. You peek out. You can see that golem is like 15 feet away, shaking its hands, almost like as if to say like, "Oh, please, don't, please, notice me." And you slam the door in its face. You all can rush up the stairs, running as fast as you can into the Crow Loft adjunct lab room. You push open this bookshelf. Everyone walks in, shut it behind you very quietly and succinctly, and stay here for a second, catching your breath. The very animally, earthy scent of bird shit fills your noses.
Not good.
From the tunnel behind you. Could you all make perception checks as you listen at the door carefully for a few moments?
Oh,
That is a 19 on my end.
Okay, 19.
As a 17 for me.
21.
21. Okay, Integrity, Winsler, huffing and puffing. You can hear creaking of boards outside. Very distinctive people walking up the stairs into the old chapel. Mira Marchand, with your very high roll, you can hear like the whirring of that robot. You hear like a little, what sounds like sound, and then you hear the sound of like paper ripping very distinctly, and then a little bit of whirring and footsteps around, and then you hear the door. All of you hear this, the door to the lab room that you had all walked into. It goes, and you can hear it open. You hear the cling, 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 metal footsteps walking onto the stone in here, and you just hear like a of like little joints moving around as if it is surveying the room itself. And then you hear cling, cling, cling grow ever more distant, and you hear the door swing shut as it seems like the golem has left.
Okay, we lost them. Yeah. Now we just gotta go.
Let's get out of here as fast as we can.
By all means.
Yeah.
You all walk to the end of this tunnel. Arise through mysterious and unknown means.
Well, probably not unknown means. How high up is the
It's
loft
like
again?
a couple 100 feet.
Couple 100 feet? What? Shit. That's more than I thought.
Like I said, mysterious and unknown means unknown to us, unknown to the audience, unknown to the players. It happens miraculously, as it oft does.
You actually built an elevator here.
Maybe there's a ladder. Maybe there's an elevator. Maybe it's magical.
It happened during the time skip.
Yeah, it was 10.
We just decided to build a ladder.
It's a little dumbwaiter, yeah.
You walk into, in the early morning air, this open cavern. At the end, it looks like the jaws of a crocodile open off to the sky outside. Inside, you see, paused in action, hundreds of small little birds that seem kind of like they look at you in annoyance as you enter in, and then you hear the squawkings begin. As everyone freaks out, interrupted in their morning rituals. You can pay no mind to their annoyed sounding squawks. Windsor Wallaby pulling out your tome, laying it on the ground.
Is there
handing a
wood in
piece of
here?
Chalk. Is there wood in here?
Yes. Is there a couple like planks of wood in here? Of any sort? Like maybe a desk or something?
Integrity breaks like a roof joint.
There is Winslow Wallaby. There can be off in like a little pile on the western edge, a couple of rotting, molded pieces of old wood. They look like spare parts for a chest, maybe. Here, discarded and unused.
Oh dear. Maybe not a good idea to go with
What
that,
do you
then.
want with these wooden
I was
boards?
thinking maybe in preparation for the portal, if it ends up throwing us in water, we may have a boat that we can float on. However, I do not know if it will be big enough nor if it will actually float.
Well, you could definitely assemble it into some small platform raft of a sort if you would like.
Sure, we can do that then.
Yeah, you can, with rope, lash these boards together, make a very not watertight vessel.
I was just going to cast Fabricate.
Oh,
but,
you can
know.
cast Fabricate. I mean, yeah, if you want to use magic.
I have the spell. I am going to use it.
I don't know why you would want to do that, you wizard. Fabricate takes an hour? 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
You can hand the book over to Mira so that she can begin the basic procedure of tracing out this sigil. As 10 minutes, pull your hands around in a mystical sense. A globe of light surrounds these mildewy boards, and you hear like a snap, 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 snap of
Lego
boards.
building sounds.
Lego building sounds as this boat, small raft assembles. It's probably like 6 feet by 7 feet, not super watertight. The boards kind of stuck together in a very what looks like a very unfastened position, but Winsler, you know, your magic is sound. You can then head back over to where Mira is, help out with the chalk outlines and do the finalizing and like the actual arcane incantations. Integrity, during all this time, you can stand, the birds flock on your shoulders, and very quietly so that no one else can hear go, beep, 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 and then another one goes, aye! Aye! And is just squawking loudly. You can converse with these birds as you wait for your friends to complete their arcane rituals. And after another 10 minutes, I believe, to trace the sigil, Winsler Wallaby.
Yes.
A complete, what to your assumptions from the night previously, a complete sigil sequence is on the floor. You can place this makeshift raft in the middle of it. Everyone can board upon it. And then Winsler Wallaby, what magical words do you say to whisk us all away on this teleportation circle?
Oh god. So with all of this rare chalk and everything, I'm going to be waving my hands around and like tracing it with my hands, and it all glows magically, and like as soon as we're about to be teleported, I'm like, beach time!
And with that, like this snap, your ears pop, and you immediately drop, almost as if you were like deposited 10 feet above water. You drop into it. This raft underneath goes kush, splosh. You all crack onto it. Some of you like kind of fall off and can very quickly like kick your feet and pull yourself up onto this makeshift raft. It's big enough that you can all like lie on your tummies on it, but you can't, if you were to like sit on it, it might push it too far onto the water.
It'll have to do.
Are immediately assaulted with super briny scent. The water around you is this emerald green color, big white caps and waves. The water seems to be quite rough today. The wind blows. You can feel the humid heat on your skin, and probably, Winslow Wallaby, roll D100 for me.
Oh fuck.
Oh my god.
You all get magically ill.
You're
Welcome to
allergic to
Scurvy.
air.
67.
67. Okay. You all see, probably 60 meters away, a very densely wooded, tropical-looking island. There's like a very shallow, white, sandy beach, and beyond it is like a very dense scrub of palm tree and shrub and vine and who knows what else. Peeking just above, seemingly off in the distance on the other side of the island, you can see like the very, very tippy-ditty top of like a distant lighthouse. But you're all sitting here on this raft, now in this tropical warm place.
Well, I wasn't expecting it to teleport us all the way up in the air a little bit, but
kind of
glad I made the raft.
It's warm out.
That was a little bit fun. The rush of it all. I wonder if that's what death is like.
I hope not.
I mean, Winslow, you would know.
I mean, it's not as grand as it seems, I'll be honest.
Nice to know.
Okay.
And with that, you can all start to sit on one side of this raft and all kick at the same time. And over the course of like a couple of minutes, like a minute, you can bring yourself in and beach this thing. You can stand up, your clothing soaked. Mira, you might go to immediately look if your arm is okay. You like try to rotate it a bit. There's some creaks and sounds of it. You probably try to avoid getting sand in it, I would assume.
Yeah.
But the water, you can kind of like towel it off a little with like a sweater or something of the sort.
I'll give it a good cleaning tonight.
I am going to cast Prestidigitation to dry myself off.
By all means, salty water goes whoosh and it sprays into the air, making a little vapor cloud, and then falling to the ground. Winsler is completely dry.
Integrity's gonna run around the beach, letting the air dry her because she does not have that spell.
I mean, I could always just cast Prestidigitation on you.
Integrity runs around in circles as the two of you get your bearings of this place. There seems to be no, as you ascertained when you had scryed Serinepth Cinderman, Mira, or when you, Integrity, were flown over in your aerial show, you seem to be on like not the lived in side of this island. It seems to be a dense forest around you. But as you kind of like walk along the beach here, or did you want to like walk into the woods or something of the sort?
I feel like we would go the length of the beach because that seems more obviously like visible and safe, but I don't know.
By all means. Let's save that then. As you walk the length of this beach, the sweet scent of tropical air filling your nose, that humid feeling on your skin, you can walk the circumference for probably like 10 minutes or so until you eventually move out of this more densely wooded section of the island. And you can see there's this large lagoon across which you can see that kind of like small settlement, a couple of small longhouses, thatch-covered buildings, a little beach house-looking thing, and a massive lighthouse standing tall and strong in the air.
Is that it? Is that where Serinepth is?
I don't know. Integrity? Do you know? You have this special information?
Integrity?
I have a strong feeling of where the location is, but as for
you guys can get the assessment that pretty much looks like exactly the stuff
All right,
you
so
saw.
essentially that is where we're going.
That's what you saw last night.
That is where Serinepth is.
Looks pretty similar. There's the dock. You can all see all that stuff. I will ask, as people who might not necessarily be, what's your guys' approach, I guess?
Should we be a little bit more careful?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we don't go in there like, spells ablazing,
What if we all disguise ourselves as bushes?
I thought you were about to say pirates.
Or a barrel.
If there were barrels around, I feel like that would be really smart.
Is there a tree nearby?
You guys there's like sparsely some palm trees around, yeah. They're not uncommon.
I would like to cast Fabricate.
God. Go take you 10 minutes. Cover me.
It'll take me 10
you
minutes.
guys be barrels, and I act as the barrel man.
Perfect.
Winslow Wallaby, you walk up to one of these trees, magic emanating from your hands. You turn this raw wood into barrels for Amir Marchand and yourself.
Yes.
And then Winslow, I will ask, are you in a small barrel or are you in an equivalently sized barrel?
I am in a small barrel.
Okay, you're in a small barrel. Maybe a barrel of rum or something of the sort.
Yeah.
Mira, you get a large barrel, as if a barrel of grain or something of the sort. Now, are these sealed barrels, or is this kind of like leave the bottom under and
like
you just
walk with it?
And walk with it.
We'll walk with it. We'll walk with
Okay.
it.
And Integrity Idleberry barrelless.
Integrity idle barrel.
I'm going to go to my backpack and I'm going to grab one of my my only eye patch that I got from
ages ago.
That I wore ages ago during
the murder mystery.
Yes. And I'm going to be like, okay, so I'm going to be carrying you all, and I'm going to be pretending that I'm delivering you. Does that sound right?
I'm surprised there would be deliveries on this remote island, but you know what? I'm willing to go for it.
I mean, I feel like they have to get their resources somehow. I feel like it's desert enough that they would need to get orders, maybe.
I thought they
Yeah,
would
maybe
exactly. Because, like, this is less weird than 3 walking barrels, you know?
That's a good point.
That's true.
Mayhaps. So, Integrity, you can shed your Wildcliff robe. You can don your eye patch. Your 2 friends get into their barrels, stand upright, and you can all very slowly walk into town. Coming in at like the southeastern edge, you see this beautiful robin's egg blue beach house. No one seems to be in it right now. You can walk past that. There seems to be some like busyness at the docks. There seems to be some sailor looking folk wearing like striped shirts or no shirts at all, and like just big puffy pants walking around to longhouses. A lot of them seem to be sitting in like that thatched cabana having some drinks. As you enter in, so Mira Marchand, Winslow Wallaby, could you roll stealth checks for me?
Sure.
This is foolish.
Oh my god. Well, the total's 11.
Oh my
It's about as stealthy as a barrel can be, a 17.
Damn.
17 and 11. Integrity Idleberry, you are walking your barrels along the backwards path, or the back kind of like sections of these houses. You walk towards one of these longhouses. A different sailor. They have probably they're probably like this squat human with like very thick eyebrows and a bald head. They have like a big scar that goes down like the middle of their face down to like their lips, almost like it looks like someone hit them in the forehead with an axe and they lived through it. They'll kind of turn to you, Integrity, and like squint at you heavily as you stand here. And then Winslow Wallaby, you hear kind of like a Integrity stop. So you just halt in your path, drop the barrel onto the ground, no feet visible. Mira Marchand, you're walking behind the tree, or the 2 of them, and then you kind of like clink and bump your barrel into Winslow, and you kind of like stumble back.
Ow!
Ow! With Integrity, you hear an ow emanate loudly, echoing inside the barrel. This sailor.
May I try to hide it? May I try to also
Ow.
say, ow!
Like, I make a deception check for
I
you.
stubbed my toe.
Like mouthing over it as if this is Integrity's
Yeah.
voice.
Like,
Ventriloquism.
oh,
a
deception.
Perfect.
That's a 15.
15.
Yes.
This thick-eyebrowed sailor, they have burly, thick arms as thick as their legs, and they walk over and they squint at you, and they squint at the little barrels, and they'll say, "What's your name? I ain't ever seen you around."
I'm new. My name is Billy Betty Boop.
Add to the list.
"What's your barrel doing yelling? Who you got in there?"
It ain't none of your business.
"None of my business."
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's my cat. I have multiple cats. And
Mr.
Make a
Wiggles,
deception
make
check.
a meow, Mr. Wiggles.
Me or her? Am I assisting? Does she get advantage?
You can have... Mir, make a performance check.
Oh, I can make a performance check.
Ooh, here we go.
That is a 15, 24. 'Cause I rolled
Integrity Idleberry. A perfect cat meow emanates from the barrel. Winslow, you pull a pouch and you look at Mr. Wiggles and you're like, meow, meow, meow. And then you see him like about to open his mouth, and then you hear a perfect meow emanate from the other barrel. Integrity, make your deception check with advantage, as Mira has the ability to perfectly mimic wildlife.
with advantage. Oh!
With advantage.
What am I rolling for?
Deception.
Deception. That is
Your cat's in a barrel.
That is a nat 20 plus 2, 22.
Holy shit.
Oh my god, I can't believe we're
Scratches
doing
his
it.
cheek and he goes, "What the hell are you doing bringing cats here?"
It's a specific kind of cat that is smuggled because they are so rare. So I have
You're not
to
making
hide.
enough. What are you not making enough money with the rest of it?
What are you talking about?
The job. What ship are you on, anyways?
Can I look around if there's a ship that has, a name on it?
You see 2 ships in harbor. Unfortunately, their proverbial ship butts are not pointed towards you, and you see no names written upon them.
Well, considering that I'm smuggling something, I don't want to talk. I don't want to tell you what ship I was on. I'm so sorry.
Make another
It's
deception
nothing
check.
against you. It's all about me.
Make another deception check for me. This will probably
Holy
be the last
shit.
one. They squint at you, weighing your every word.
Deception. That is a 13 plus 2. 15.
That's probably why I don't recognize you. Crew of the Ills. Ugh. What are you doing? But you're not making enough money. Do you need a hand moving the barrels? Put them in the storehouse. Say that.
I can do it all. I can do it all by myself.
You can do it all yourself. You're making quite a racket over here. You know that, right? We're here to help one another out, you know? It's supposed to be an easy job. Sit around, drink a little. We could put the barrels onto your ship there, and then we can go over to the cabana. How's that sound, Billy?
Considering that this is what I'm doing is quite illegal, I would like to do it by myself. But, I know that the job is easy. Your job is easy. It's so easy, eh? Like, what are we what are we even doing?
Collecting a good paycheck. Let me help you move the barrels, though.
Okay, is there, so is there maybe a small crack in my barrel that I could
By all
see
means,
out?
Absolutely. Mira and Winsler, you can, after this minutes-long conversation, find little cracks in your barrels or poke out a little plug and your eyes are just watching, Rodel Dorado style, and you're just watching this transpire.
Okay, is there maybe a shaded area that's sort of out of the way, somebody wouldn't really notice something if it was over there?
Probably, yeah. There's the little shadows and stuff and bushes by the longhouse, or there's a big shadow that the lighthouse casts further away, but you would be pretty disparate or pretty far away from everyone at that point. But the closest little shadowy place is the longhouse is raised a little bit, so there's a little crawl space under, or there's bushes around the back if you wanted to go that route.
Okay, how far away is that?
Maybe 25 feet.
Excellent. Okay, so with my conjuration abilities and seeing through this little hole in my barrel, I'm going to teleport.
Okay, by all means. You pop. It doesn't make a sound. You just disappear from where you are and arise in the shadows, hiding behind this little longhouse.
I'm gonna wave to try and get integrity and Mira's attention.
You're behind this sailor guy, but the direction the barrel and integrity are facing, the two of you can see Winsler just miraculously appear. He pops out from behind a little wooden staircase and waves at the two of you.
Okay.
Mira?
All right, I have a plan for how I can get out of this situation, but it might involve more trouble than it's worth, which is also Mira Marchand's middle name. So I'm going to cast, so here's what I'm going to do.
Yes.
I'm going to use Subtle Spell.
Of course.
To cast Disguise Self so that there's no, somatic components. Okay, and then what I'm going to do... Okay, no, let me finish. I have a plan. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cast Disguise Self. I am going to disguise myself to look like a beachy Philip Maisel, and I'm going to lift up the barrel and come out of it, and I'm going to go, Billy, honey, it's okay. We don't have to hide from this one. I'll help you move the cat.
This man, his eyes go wide. He's squinting at you the entire time, and his eyes go wide. You can see these bright yellow eyes, and he's not yellow like Philip.
Windsor's kind of mimicking his expression.
He looks at the two of you, and Mira, you emerge. Sand, the sea-salted hair, all wavy and curly, brilliant white, yellow eyes, the triangular chin, the pale-ass pasty skin, all of it.
Please don't tell anyone about me and Billy Betty Boop. I promise you'll be well compensated for your silence.
Oh, darling, thank you so much for helping me.
I didn't want your cat scheme to be exposed, and I didn't want them to see us like this, so I ducked behind this other barrel, but I'll take the cat. And I'm going to pick up the barrel that Winsler was in. Pick up the other barrel.
Very careful to not show that the bottom is not there.
It's true.
This guy, when you say you'll be well compensated, he kind of looks over his shoulder. Winsler, you can duck out of the way. And he kind of looks over. There's a bunch of sailors over at the docks milling about. There's people running to and fro. Lots of people sitting at that cabana. You're kind of off in a quiet, almost alleyway. He'll walk toward, take a half step towards you and lean in. He's probably only 5'3", not a very large man. Probably burly, wide shoulders though. He'll, well compensated, you said, and he'll stick a hand out. And he goes, I take payments for stuff like that up front.
Oh, damn it! All right, I'm going to slip this guy 20 gold.
20 gold.
Yeah.
You slip it into his hands. He appraises it and he goes, works. He tosses it into a little wallet and he kind of like looks you up and down. Mira, Philip.
Yeah.
He goes, didn't take your further type. I'll keep it tight-lipped from the girl for you.
Thank you.
He gives you a nod, Billy, and he strolls off, seemingly past you guys, heading out into like the woods almost for who knows what kind of thing. Mira Marchand, you hold in a hand a barrel. Integrity Idlebear, you are
I carried the
passing.
smaller empty barrel.
Yeah, absolutely. The two of you walk forwards. A couple of sailors nod towards you as they walk to and fro. You can walk over to like the stairs by this longhouse where Winsler is very much hiding. You could almost put the barrels in front of him to create some cover for him if you wanted to have like a little
Winsler nest.
replan session. Yeah. Because I don't know what you guys all plan to do from here. You're very close to the center of all this. There's the two boats with probably 14 people working on the two ships amongst them and on the docks and such things. And then there might be probably 8 people off in the cabana. You can hear them drinking. You can hear them laughing, singing. You hear a loud whistling coming from over there. And you hear the sounds of knife going cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha into a table as people seem to be playing knife games.
Damn.
I think now that we're kind of in the thick of everything, we should probably find Serinepth.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't I hear him say that you won't tell it to the girl? So I think we can confirm that she's here, right?
Yeah, the question is, what do we do when we see her? Because I don't think campus is safe for her, Do we just... Maybe the best thing is to just make ourselves known and, make sure that no harm comes to her. Maybe whether that's, maybe we just hide around the island, tell her we're here, or maybe we just... I don't know, announce it, Say hey, don't fuck with us. We're Wildcliff students,
We could probably do that. I think we should probably find her first.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that she is okay. And then from there, we can go with that plan. We can hide in the shadows and then, bam, we were here the whole time.
We also need to find out what they're here for, because they were saying something about you should be well compensated. I wonder if that has anything to do with Serinepth.
They could just be hired?
By who and for what?
Hired by Philip, maybe?
Yeah, either their protection or their muscle for a different, more kidnappy reason.
I think we need more information.
Yeah.
Exactly. So let's go find her.
Okay. Mira is going to do a couple little taps, percussion-y taps on one of the barrels.
Onto the barrel, yes.
And is going to listen for what direction the echo comes from as she casts Locate Creature.
You tap a couple of times, listen for the echo, and before we resolve that, we cut over to Serinepth Sinderman. This is probably an hour after that conversation you had with Philip. The two of you are reclining on the beach. Sailors have, with a tray, brought you little fruity drinks. They taste delicious. It's like coconut, pineapple, some other good fruits in there, such things. You're sitting here. Philip is in some dark brown shorts, legs crossed, pasty skin fully exposed to the world at large. What about you, Serinepth? Have you taken the relaxation by the horns, or are you waiting for it to come on naturally?
I think at this moment, Serinepth has kind of taken into the, we're going to relax right now because whatever's going to come, we can take care of that.
When it comes.
Probably found were there any other swimsuits on the island to even
By all means, the chests within your beach house filled with all varieties of beach clothing and the like. Things fit for a noble relaxation. A lot of it seems very much tailored to your dimensions, Serinepth. Almost like people had planned this a long time past.
Fun.
With quite a few resources.
Yeah, I think she's she found a big sun hat and she found a nice bikini with one of those shawls over top, and she's just relaxing. She just has to.
Absolutely. We see a scene of the two of you lying on your chairs, getting some sun, drinking your drinks, maybe standing in the shallows of the lagoon, splashing each other. It's a whole grand day. Walking about. Philip, altogether, none of that weird blinking around, very much like focused on things, making sure you are doing okay and very good. You can spend the morning, the early hours of the morning like this, 3 hours-ish. Noon lunchtime seems to come. You can head to that little cabana, the 8th Blade Club, have a couple of small plates of fried meats. The sailors around grow quite silent when you come here. And Serinepth Cinderman, as you guys finish your food, you hear like from the lighthouse, like a very small bell, like ding, 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 ding. You can look up. There's like almost like near the top at the room where the light must be, there's almost like this exposed balcony section. You see like an older woman, fully grayed hair, wearing like a white lab coat. She is standing there and is ringing a bell that hangs by a string. You can stare up at her for some time. And after probably like a minute or so, or like while you do this, Philip will take a deep sigh and drink from his cup, not making eye contact with you. And maybe a minute later, Serinepth Cinderman, that black leathered person, Rhaegar, waltzes into this small cabana. They will nod to you very quickly. Their hair is now tied back, almost like to get it out of their face and off of their skin. And they're wearing distinctly less clothing than they were the night before. Almost just like a puffed black shirt and some like very loose pants with some like large cuffed boots. You know the type. Big old buckle made of gold. And they'll nod to you, Serinepth, and say, "Princess, it is time, I think, for you to meet with our wonderful doctor." When they say princess, Philip's eyes like go wide and like stares with like shock at the person at Rhaegar, and Rhaegar will kind of like smirk at that reaction and then bow deeply towards you, Serinepth, waiting for any response from you.
I'm gonna glance over to Philip, and because like my understanding is that Philip was the one who told him about me. I'm gonna look at him confused, like I didn't get married. What?
Philip will. I'm sorry. And Rhaegar walks over, puts a hand on his shoulder, and will say, "It's no matter, young lord. Girl, then, if you don't like the other title, why don't you come ahead with me? We've got a meeting to make. I'm sure the young lord will be tragic in your absence, but he'll survive as he survived for seasons without you." With a grin on their face.
I'm going to set my drink to the side and I'm going to stand up. I'm going to put my hand on Philip's shoulder.
Yes.
And
Rhaegar kind of steps back a couple of steps.
And I'm going to, again, like, try and keep him as calm as possible, like, smile and say, "Why don't you pick out a book for us to read later? That'd be nice."
That kind of, like, shakes him out of this wide-eyed kind of shock and, like, glaring over at Rhaegar. And he goes, "Yes, I will do just that. I'll wait for you at the house, I'll wait for you at the beach house. Have a good meeting with the good doctor." And he will kind of stand and give like a mouth open, kind of very worried expression towards the two of you as Rhaegar kind of like sweeps and bows to you, and then will very quickly like turn on their heels and begin leading you towards the lighthouse, Serinepth Cinderman.
As we're walking, like once we get out of that area, I'm going to ask.
Yes, you leave the cabana, walk on the path. They put their hands like onto their belt buckle and begin whistling a little tune. I'm going to kind of like walk next to them and say, "So, what in all has Philip said about me?" "Ooh, said there was a betrothal, said it broke bad, said the two of you were lovebirds from the day you were born or something of the sort. Said he grew a spine one day and it again broke bad. Sailed with me for a couple of weeks, a lot of weeks. Made a plan, did the plan, worked out great. Filled in a lot of details about you. Sorry for calling you princess. Don't like using people's names." I just had a moment of thought of, I didn't know if he told you that I did get married or... Married? No, nothing of the sort. Haven't heard a rumor, this or that, about it. Okay. Heard a couple of rumors about, and they stop kind of, and will look over at you with kind of like appraising eyes, and they'll say, "A couple of rumors about people losing their names. That was curious to me." That is interesting.
Uh-oh.
Curious how you'd pulled something like that off if it was you that did it.
not sure exactly how I would pull something off like that, even if I did.
Make a deception check.
Oh dear.
Oh shit! Natural 20, so 25.
A natural 20. A 25.
Ooh.
Rhaegar nods a little, and they'll go, easy as that, then. All right. Guess you don't know nothing about it. Tragic incident it is, then, if you didn't do it. To have a pair of people so close to you lose anything that you can call them by. Fascinating stuff. I'd love to get some of that myself. Ugh. And they walk you up to the stairs up to this lighthouse. They'll spin around and say, all right, you're on your own from here. She's up on the top. Go see her. She'll set you straight, I guess.
Thank you, Rhaegar.
Pleasure talking to you, princess.
Go inside.
You walk up the stairs. Rhaegar stands, leans there, whistles a tune. Melodic, beautiful, jaunty as it were. You can step up the stairs, open this heavy door into the lighthouse, and walk in. You close it behind you, and just like that, this silence just overcomes everything. You can hear like the dripping of water somewhere around. You can't hear the wind blowing outside or the whistling or any of the loud laughter coming from that like cabana club. And you just see a spiral staircase headed up. And like on this floor, there's a bunch of like barrels of what looks like oil and glass flasks and something of the sort. There seems to be another winch that is inside, probably for raising stuff up, raising cargo up when there's storms outside and they can't use that one. But nonetheless, you can take a quick breath and begin climbing this spiral staircase upwards. Once you reach the ceiling, you come to a small door, you push it open, and you find yourself in a open kind of room. It looks like someone's living quarters, Serinepth. There is a small cot pushed against one of the walls here. It's very cramped. What you would imagine like a lighthouse keeper's quarters look like, Serinepth, though I don't know if you've ever seen that. There's a small cot, a small kitchen space with like a small like what looks like a place to have like a small fire running, an oven of a sort or a stove. There's a large table to sit at. There's a bunch of what look like navigational tools strung up, or apparatuses hanging lashed to the ceiling. You see a bookshelf off to the corner that has, though how much of a corner is it in like a circular room? You see it is filled to the brim with what look like very old, very written in journals. There's some larger books that have a much more printed script on them that seem to be the keeper's logs. You can read that from afar, printed in like a very legible text. And additionally, there's like these windows at every single wall. This isn't the light room. The staircase does continue further up, and you can kind of like peek up the cast iron staircase, and you can see there's like a big windowed room, just a couple, like probably 10 feet above you up the stairs. That seems to be like where the light itself and the mechanism there works. You can look around a couple more seconds and see that there is a woman. The door out into the balcony that I referenced earlier is open, and you see that older woman out there sitting at a little white chair. There's a table in front of her, and on the other side of it, a empty chair. She seems to be sitting there drinking tea and will look over at you with silent. Her lips are kind of pursed. Her nose is a bit wide and flat. She has light brown skin and this gray curled hair that's kind of like pulled up into like a very loose ponytail. She sits here, lab coat on, and waits for you to join her on the balcony.
Do I get an idea of like what is she sitting there like invitingly? Is it kind of menacing? Like,
it seems very invitingly.
Okay.
Legs crossed, she looks at you expectantly, but doesn't say anything to you yet as you look around her seemingly living quarters. She doesn't seem to want to interrupt you if you're not ready to speak to her.
I'll kind of take another steadying breath and make my way over to the seat.
Absolutely. You can walk out the door. You can squeeze between the kind of wide table and the ledge here and sit down in a mildly uncomfortable white wicker chair. She leans forward and puts her tea glass onto its little saucer. There's a teapot sitting there, an empty teacup in front of you. She'll grab it and quickly pour a yellow-looking tea. It's quite a deep yellow color. It has this very floral scent to it. And as she does so, in utter silence, you can just hear the trickle of the water. You can hear the wind outside again. You can hear Rhaegar's whistling from far below, the happy, jaunty laughs and knife sounds coming from the cabana. And then as she finishes filling up your cup, she sets the teapot down and will look at you, her wrinkled old face like kind of taking in your every single feature on yours. And then she will kind of like look down at your hands, kind of like put on your lap, takes in just appraisingly, and will lean back in her own chair. You hear it creak a little bit. She's like kind of like wide, short woman, maybe 60s, 70s years old. Serinepth Cinderman, a human. She has like these very small round ears that you can notice, and she will look at you and say, "It's very nice to meet you, dear. My name is Eleanor, Dr. Eleanor Winstan. I'm sure your good friend, young Lord Maisel, had told you that we met together and hit it off, as it were, and I was quite excited for him to bring you here should everything work out the way that we had planned."
It's lovely to meet you as well, Dr. Winston.
Thank you.
I've been told a couple of times about the plan. I'm unfortunately not aware of what exactly that is.
Yes, I think the young lord purposefully kept you in the dark, though I disagree with his doing so. Rhaegar knew the plan, he knew the plan, and not many others. I know a general idea, and I know what I would like to do, but I will extend an ask to you, as your opinion here is warranted as well. How would you like this to end? This affair with treason and a besmirched name on your end.
I would be happy if I was no longer being hunted, though I don't know if I would wish to go back to my noblehood at this point.
A difficult wish, that is. It would be good to cleanse oneself of titles unearned, titles of traitor, titles of treason. Those two unlucky folks of yours seem to have wound up in quite a bit of trouble in your stead. I don't know if you know of it, but their names seem to have been scrubbed from all records. Laws, as written in Ashua, seem to have been stopped up by that simple fact. A fun insult to the dogmatic or bureaucratic beliefs of the monarchs. And she stops and drinks her tea a little. Young Lady Cinderman, I have some sway left in the Ashuan courts, though not enough, I fear, to completely expunge what crime you seem to be accused of. Enough to put a good word in, mayhaps, but that might be the end of it.
And you would want something from me, is that correct?
I don't know what you have that would be of service to me. Not to insult, but I thought that you were without titles or without power anymore, persecuted by the crown. What do you have to offer?
I say it because I'm not too used to people giving a kindness and not wanting something in return.
Yes, that's off the way the world works, isn't it, girl? I have research ongoing here that I suppose with your acumen compared to the young lords, I don't view him as a great scholar or some grand explorer. He seems to be middling at most things he commits his mind to, I found. I've heard some tales, although his telling might cloud the reality of it with his feelings for you. I've heard some tellings of your intellectual abilities at that school of yours. You could lend an eye, peek over the things I've written, help a old lady out in that regard. I'm sure that wouldn't, if we were to evenly trade, fully pay for my good word to the courts on your behalf. But it's a start, isn't it? And she'll eye you appraisingly.
If I would be happy if my looking over notes or anything like that would assist in your research. I will say, I kind of look around up to the sky where the stars are still kind of shining. I will say it's an interesting place to do research. I'd be interested to help in any way I can.
I've been here for the past 50 years, wouldn't you know? I trained at Academy in Arrows. You might not believe it, but Peters, I'm sure you're familiar, used to be quite the tutor there. I was positioned here. I willingly positioned myself here due to the unique nature of the island. I've grown quite fond of it. I don't know if you feel it in the air, but there's a potency to the magic, almost palpable like the humidity itself. Lends great effects to what my research aims to do.
I see. I gesture up to the lighthouse, and I'll say, the light that emanates from the lighthouse itself, is that part of it? I'm not sure I've ever seen a lighthouse glow red.
It's unique. Yes, I do so admit, young Cinderman. It's related to the research. It's a main focal point in recent years. I gain a lot of funding directly from the crown, I must admit, to keep it operational. And a small smile, almost like she's thinking fondly of her work, Serinepth merges over her lips. And she'll say, "Are you curious what is wrong with the young lord?" And she kind of taps her fingers on the table.
It has been something that has caused me great worry over the last long amount of time.
Yes, I can quite imagine.
He said that you were helping? Is the research, is it helping?
I admit my bias, but I believe the research is fundamental to the boy's recovery. He's been through quite a lot, as I'm sure you know and can imagine. I met him just before he set out further east looking for his parents. Luck landed him at the shores of my humble island. I helped him to see through the veil of what had clouded him. It still clouds him, but the work must continue. And it is helping. Mir Marchand, down on the shore, surrounded by barrels, in the image of one beachy Philip Maisel, you da-da-da drum on a barrel, the notes reverberate, and up to the left, you look and see on the balcony a small table. From this distance, it's kind of hard to make out the figures up there, but your locate creature pings back that is the direction of Serinepth Cinnamon. You can kind of squint your eyes and make out the general features, hair pulled up and kind of like under a sun hat. She seems to be sitting talking to an older human woman, grayed hair, having a grand chat from your perspective. But you have definitely located her.
Okay, she's up there. And I like kind of gesture with my shoulder up to where she is.
All the way up there?
Yeah, probably not the best time to burst in and start, pew pew with the fire. But should we wait until they're done, or is this the sort of danger that Integrity you sensed with your vibes?
My heart is telling me that we could probably wait for her. I don't believe that there is imminent danger at this exact moment.
Okay.
Maybe we can wait at the door and then cover her mouth and then take her away.
I feel like okay. I can still do Philip for like another hour. So, okay, well, here's an idea in the meanwhile. Maybe we sort of go around and I kind of pretend to be Philip and I'm like, hey, I brought these two on special. Nobody look in any other way or give them any trouble. Maybe that's the play. And then when she's done talking to that lady, we'll get in touch with her.
That could work.
Yeah. We can probably also try to scout and find out what they're doing here.
yeah, I'm just another member of the crew, but I don't know anything yet. Oh gosh, Philip just brought me on.
And Philip's very bad at explaining things.
Right?
Renowned for it. Okay. The three of you kind of glance back up, watch Serinepth. The conversation seems to be continuing at a plodding cadence, but you can, if you would like to, Miramar Sean disguised as Beachy Philip Maisel, you can emerge out, walking away from those barrels, kind of stepping into the sunlight, as it were. Behind you, Integrity, with her eye patch on, can walk behind you in step like some hired sailor walking and being shown around. Winsler Wallaby, in your case, is there any visual preparations you would like to take in order to further this ruse that you are hired to help? Or are you going to try to play the I am a hired wizard here to do wizardly things kind of vibe?
Yeah, let's go with like hired wizard kind of vibes, but maybe I kind of look like a pirate.
How do you kind of look like a pirate then?
I'll use altered self to give myself a rough and tough looking appearance.
A broken tooth.
You alter self. You give yourself like a crooked nose and like rough skin, as if you'd been out on the sea and it's been hardened up by cold breezes and salt. Rough. Muss up the hair a little bit. Maybe I don't know. Throw a little. I don't know if alter self has the capabilities to do such things, but it can definitely rough your skin up and kind of make you look a lot more ragged. And then you can just kind of like unbutton your shirt a couple more buttons.
Unbutton my shirt, maybe get some like, I don't know, palm leaves, bush leaves, some seaweed. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah. Rub sand on yourself. Miramar Sean, you look behind. You see Integrity, who does kind of resemble a sailor of a sort, and you see Winsler, who resembles someone who's read about as sailors.
Listen, he's a wizard. Wizards are supposed to be a little bit.
They're supposed to be bookish and kind of like,
this tracks.
Clean around the corners. But with that mirror motion, you can peek back up at Serinepth, lingering there. Do you want to? Where would you like to head to try to introduce your new two crew members? You hear ruckus is coming from a little cabana off to the west, and then there's like the dock where a bunch of people are working.
Okay, so I know I just cast Locate Creature, but I know where she is now. I'm going to cast it again, and what I'm going to do is I want to cast it via Philip, because I don't want to have two Philips in the same room type situation.
Good idea.
So whichever direction Philip is not in, I would like to go.
You guys are standing between a longhouse made of like logs and stuff and a little robin's egg blue beach house, Mira. You tap on the little top of the makeshift drum again, this barrel, and you get a ping that is very, 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 very close. It is probably like 16 feet away from you, dead center in that little beach house building. Almost like he's sitting in there doing absolutely nothing. Just creepy. Waiting, it seems.
Okay,
very creepy like.
Past the beach house, Nobody gets spotted.
All right, let's go.
You guys,
it's me, Philip.
You guys head forth. There's the nearest place is the cabana. There seems to be a lot of people carousing in there. It would be a great place to introduce yourself. As you walk forwards, you walk past the base of this lighthouse, and you see a person dressed in like dark black shirt, unbuttoned almost down to like their sternum almost, and it kind of like fades apart. They are wearing, they have black hair pulled back. They have an eye patch over one of their eyes, and their other eye, this orange eye, looks at the three of you very inquisitively, especially you, Philip. They are leaning against like the stairs at the lighthouse and are whistling, and as soon as they see you, they stop and say, "Young lord," and they'll move forwards and strut towards you. They stand like a couple inches taller than you, Mira, and they'll kind of like walk up to you and stand shoulder to shoulder, looking up. They look over their shoulder at the two, Integrity and Winsler, and they'll whisper in your ears and say, "Where'd you find the two of these? Because I've never seen anything of them, and you never mentioned them to me before."
They're late edition. We need a little bit more magical prowess than I think this crew can handle. Mira, when you say that, they look back and they look incredibly insulted, and they'll say, almost like just barely containing a bit of anger, or a lot of anger, they'll say, "More? You need more? I'm not enough?" It's not your kind of magic. that I'm looking for.
Not.
Oh shit! Even more insulting.
No, I don't mean it like that. I just mean it's different.
Make a persuasion check.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
They
are
seem
taking
very
great
insulted,
Yeah,
Mira.
I could totally understand that. That's pretty good. That is a 29, I think? Yeah.
Okay.
29.
They
16, 13.
grab you by the scruff of your salty little shirt and pull you very close. And in like a angered voice, they will growl in your ear and will say, "If you're bringing them on for more magic, you better not they better not take any bit of my cut. You promised me. I was promised." And they push you back and they'll say, "They better not take any of mine."
I guarantee you they won't.
This very angry looking person looks at the two of you, glares at the two of you, and will say, with a angry smile on their face, I'll say, "Welcome to the crew. I hope you don't stay around long." And they will turn and go back to leaning next to the lighthouse, and they will watch you glaring with their one eye as you walk forwards away from them.
Into the cabana, I think.
Yes, towards the cabana. There's like a brief moment where Integrity, you and Winsler are kind of like behind her, walking in, and you hear like a spit onto the ground, and you can kind of look back and see that they like spat in your general direction and can kind of take breaths. Mira Marchand, you can walk towards this thatch-covered cabana. A bunch of the sailors are like noses up out of their cards and out of their drinks, watching the yelling that was just coming from over that direction. And then as soon as you walk in past the precipice, they all kind of like very visibly turn back to whatever they're doing, as if they were not all just like eavesdropping and watching. A kind of like carousing, like a clamor goes back out. There's a guy in the corner with like an accordion, and like he's singing like a very, very bad song, and does not have good pipes, Mira Marchand, nor any acumen at the accordion. But nonetheless, it's
I'm going to like kind of knock twice like on the wall just to get people's attention.
Absolutely. Yeah. People look over to you.
Everyone, listen here. I brought 3 mages on, additional hired help. There's Billy Betty Boop over here, and what was your name again? I look to Winsler.
Yar, my name be Castaway.
Billy Betty Boop, Castaway.
Just call me Casta.
I've asked her to speak to somebody else, but there's a third one you'll see soon. Metal Arm, her name is Joan. I want you all to know that these are people that I highly respect, and I don't want a word against them. Please. Thank you.
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage, please, and thank you.
Okay. All right. Roll number 1, 10 plus something. Roll number 2, 9 plus something. Total is a 9 plus 13, 22.
22. You see people lean back in their chairs. You see people lean forward in their chairs. You see a person with a knife as if they were doing like a cha-cha-cha, like 5-finger fillet? Is that the name of it? Whatever it is. The one where you stab between your fingers. They look up. Everyone, these rapscallions glower at you all. One of them spits some like chewing tobacco onto the floor. And then the guy with the accordion goes, well, if you're paying, welcome to the career. And then everyone kind of like, welcome, and goes back to their playing cards and stuff like that. More people spit onto the ground. People drink their drinks. Someone walks over towards the two of you, not towards you, Mira, as you are disguised right now. They'll hold up to you, Winsler Wallaby, like a big metal, like a tin cup, and they'll put it into your hands and say, and like lean in. They are missing like all of the teeth on the bottom of their like the bottom row.
Reminds me of my neighbor.
They'll lean into you and say, "You look green, boy. Casta? Is that it?"
That's right. So what do you mean I look green? I'm not green.
You look green like you ain't ever been on a ship before, boy.
Unfortunately, I've only ever been on one ship in my life.
Oh, there's the truth comes out. Deck wizard, you be? Is that it? And you're a mage too. You don't look it. And they look up at you, Integrity Adelberry. People seem to be paying you 0 mind right now, Mira Marchand, if you wanted to like slip away by chance.
I don't think I would like to slip away.
Okay.
Well, I would say that they're a wizard with knives, if you get what I mean.
Knives. They look up to you, Integrity Adelberry. Knives? That's your name, is it?
That's my nickname. My real name is Billy Betty Boop.
Billy Knives Betty Boop? Aye. Name's
is
Ernest.
No. It's Billy Betty Knives. Boop.
I assumed it was a one last name. It's a two name kind of situation. A three name situation. You're good with knives. You better talk. If your nickname's Knives, I think there's gonna be a problem. You better go talk to Knives over there. A little gesture to the person who's like stabbing between their fingers. They seem to be missing like 3 fingers on their right hand, and their left hand
That
is
makes
like
the game a lot easier.
spotless. They're glowering over at you as they overhear Knives. They like grimace with their teeth. You see like 6 gilded teeth along the top row, and you hear like a
Wait.
emerge from
We
them.
don't need to fight. Because it's a different spelling. It has a letter H in there.
You see the other guy who's referenced as Knives with all the golden teeth. They seem to be an elf with like 1,000 piercings in their right ear and like a big cut in their left one. And they'll kind of think for a second and say, "There's an H in it. There's no
Well, mine
Knives.
does. So we're not the same.
knife."
No. It's KHNIVES.
K and an H.
Knives.
Knives with a K and an H. Great one, Coco. This guy kind of like looks at you, kind of shrugs a little bit, and he goes, "Ain't my problem," and goes back to trying to stab his fingers, or rather not. Integrity, Winsler, you two seem to be ingratiated, welcomed in, brought over, told to sit down. Someone deals you into a hand of cards.
Ooh.
Winslow Wallaby, you can sit down at this table where they're playing cards. They're dealing out stuff. One of the guy dealing out looks at you for a second. He has like a small eye patch over his eye, and he like pulls it away and reveals like another eye underneath that he like looks at you a little bit. It's like clouded over, and he like pulls it back and goes, and he deals you a hand. Could you roll for me some D100?
Oh shit. Okay. This is the
thought this
second
was
D100 in an
As you
episode.
kind of oversee this. Integrity, you can take a cup. Do you want to drink from it?
Sure.
It is horrifically bitter. It tastes of extremely concentrated wine of a sort. You look at it, it's like deep, dark, brownish purple. And you like lick your teeth for a second. Mira, you can look over. Her teeth are like stained dark red. Winslow Wallaby, how did you roll?
This ain't no nebulosis milk, I'll tell you what. I got a 14.
A 14. Winslow, for some reason, round after round after round after round, every single card that comes your direction is a 2. You get a 2, 2 of hearts, 2 of clubs, 2 of dwarfs, 2 of stars, and you're like, what is going on here? And they are running rampant on you. You hear chuckles and giggles as these guys take your money very readily, very willingly. A lady sitting there, she has a bandana on, and then like a scar on her like cleft, or like she has a big chin, and she has like a big scar coming across it. She has like large muscled arms and is wearing like a cut off vest shirt. She like leans back at the chair. She has this massive stack of gold in front of her as she takes it all from her fellow crewmates, and she cackles at you, and she takes like a deep swig of her cup and kind of like shakes her head. Integrity Idleberry, you sip from this drink and can kind of sidle over next to Mira if you wanted, or Mira if you wanted to do anything else while you're here.
Okay, the person who spoke didn't give their name, did they?
Elris.
Elris. Okay, I think I'm going to kind of like nudge Elris slightly and just be like, listen, when the third one, Joan, gets here, why don't you give them the rundown of tomorrow's orders? Listen, to tell you the truth, I wasn't really able to give them too much information. They were found quite quickly. Their services are very difficult to come by, so please treat them with the respect they deserve.
You all right?
Do you mind giving them a bit of an orientation?
They pull you aside a little bit and they say, "Boy, you all right in the head?
Honestly,
You seem a bit out of things."
I have a headache.
Aye. Unlucky that the doctor's talking to the girl.
Huh.
Should probably get checked up before the night's end.
I'll do that right now.
And they kind of like lean over and like peek into your eyes a little bit, and like they even grab your chin a little bit and like will point you towards. And as they make contact with you, they're gonna make their proxy investigation check to see if your disguise holds up. I assume a 7 doesn't beat your DC.
No, it does not.
So they grab your chin, Mira, and like squeeze your cheeks and will pull and look you directly in the eyes and kind of like very like uncomfortably close and like looking in your eyes a little bit, and will push you back and say, Sorry about that. Just told some warning signs to look for in ya.
Oh.
Yeah, go see the good doctor before the night's out, boy.
Oh, I'll do that now.
Stay away from the
finished.
drinks.
Oh, I need to follow that advice better. And what I think I'm going to do is like slip out of the cabana and then drop the spell and come back in
immediately.
Oh my god!
I'll give like a 15-second.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, you walk out, Integrity, Winsler, you see her go, or Philip go, and then you see, probably like 15 seconds later, from around the other side of the building, pushes the 2 doors open, Mira Marchand. Tell me, how do you display yourself? You walk around, and it's like when you walk off stage during a play, and you have to very quickly run to a different section and get your costume ready. How do you get ready as you run past?
I think that like Mira is like putting on the game face. It's like, okay, how do I seem disarming but also competent? And I think that Mira comes in. She's going to cast Mage Hand and give like a big thumbs up to everybody around and be like, hi, oh, it's so nice to be on this crew. I'm Joan.
Oh my god.
Have you done anything visually to like piratify yourself?
I think
or sailorify yourself. These people aren't pirates, to be clear. They're just sailors,
I think that Mira is really relying on like the metal arm because like, you know,
Okay.
pirates have eye patches, peg legs. So I'm
Yes.
like, I'm trying, the point of the like, you know, thumbs up mage hand is like to draw attention to it, to show that I'm like a weary sailor who's very happy to be here.
You like walk in, give the big thumbs up. Hey, good to be here, folks. And like all eyes, like people again look up from their cards. Not trying to hide the looks this time, and they'll look over, and you see, oh, jeez, Lord, you look at that. People say. A couple of people might stand up. Elris slowly walks over, looking you over, and goes, "You Joan?
Joan Evelyn Kingsley, that's me."
Good name. 3 names, 3 names in the crew. Is Castaway 3 names for you, boy? And
no, it's just Castaway.
Castaway.
Unless you count the A.
Where we were the 3-name trio, but Casta really messed with that.
Boo!
We were gonna have this whole 3 motif.
A short dwarven woman walks up to you, Mira Marchand. You can hear like a clunk, clunk, clunk as they walk up to you. They seem to be missing all the way up to like their upper thigh, and it's replaced with a massive wooden leg or just a peg. And they'll walk up to you and like, without asking or anything, like look at you, like put a finger on your arm and run it along the brass, and they'll say, "It's beautiful."
Oh, ever since I lost my arm in that Kraken attack, it's really come in handy, huh? Get it?
Make a deception check.
Oh no, a Kraken.
Oh my god, that is a 13 plus 4, or a 4 plus 13 more accurately. So that's a 17.
It was a juvenile.
I lied. It wasn't actually. It was just a squid.
You say, "Oh, I lost it," and everyone goes, "Ah, yes." You see, like 7 of them seem to be missing a limb of some sort, or a finger of some sort, or some sort of part of their body, and everyone kind of nods, like, been there. And then you say, "In a Kraken attack," and the room goes, "Whoa!" And like people stand, and you get like pulled over to the table. The cars get pushed aside. Castaway, you get like pulled out of the chair. Mira, you get planted into the chair, and everyone's like, it's kind of like just dish. Come on, tell us the story,
so let me tell
girl.
you what it's like when a big reptile bites off your arm.
Reptile.
Meanwhile, elsewhere, Serinepth Cinnamon, you're drinking tea. You hear rowdiness coming from down there. You hear like yelling coming from Regard below. You can like peek over. You and the good doctor kind of peek over and watch. Philip Serinepth seems to be with 2 people you kind of recognize. A tiefling with pretty big pointy horns. She's wearing an eye patch, but is unmistakably one Integrity Idleberry. And you see a kind of rough-faced little Winsler Wallaby, also lacking the school robe, but nonetheless. And you can kind of look at Philip and, like, I don't know if a curiosity bubbles up within you, or do you say anything, or what's the play here, Serinepth?
I keep with continuity. I'm gonna wait until like they've probably walked off a bit.
Thank you.
And I'm going to kind of sit back. Is the conversation with
the doctor, Winstan, over?
Yeah, like have we like kind of reached a natural end where I would be able to go down, or
it kind of like they look over the edge with you and look at your reaction and kind of say, "Do you recognize them?" Your eyes glimmered a little bit. I pay attention to that sort of thing.
Oh, well, it's just, I was surprised to see Philip come back around. We were sort of planning to read, so I'm just kind of surprised to see him still walking around. I really should get him some sunscreen. He burns so easily.
She picks up her tea, her cup of tea, almost empty, and she'll say, "Read," and take a big sip. She puts it down then and will lean back and she'll say, "Well, before I release you to go relax on the beach, would you like to come upstairs, see a little bit of the research firsthand before you go off? Enjoy your night?"
Blushing, like, sure, yeah, let's look at the research. Like, we really just were gonna read. Like, it wasn't.
Oh, I was young once. No need to.
Oh.
And she kind of stands herself up. The lab coat kind of like flares as she stands and kind of brushes it. She will lead you to that wrought iron staircase and put a hand on the railing and gesture for you to go upstairs. She'll say, "The light's off right now. Just give me a moment. You can stand up there while I go turn it on." How does that sound?
Sure. I go up the
Take
stairs.
in the sights. You can see for miles and miles elsewhere. And up there, the ceiling's made of glass as well this time of day. You ought to be able to see a couple beautiful constellations if you know the stars. If not, I'll show you them when I get up there with you, but just give me a moment. And she kind of like holds the railing and kind of like, not super hunched of the back, but kind of like as if walking after sitting for such a time kind of like hurts her joints a little bit. She will meander over to like the back side of that little living space. Serinepth, you can watch her for some time and then walk up the wrought iron staircase. What's going through your head right now?
I think at this very moment, because obviously, she did recognize her friends, or at least two of them. And so
Yes.
she's trying to like kind of like putting the pieces together. Like, obviously, if Winsler and Integrity are here, then that
Mira
could
must
have been Mira. I've seen her disguise herself before.
Yeah, absolutely.
How did they get here so fast? Like, do they know what's going on? Like, do they have more information? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. And so the thoughts racing through your head as you walk up these couple of stairs, and you can like grab it's kind of steep at the very top, so you can grab like the railings and pull yourself up almost like it's a ladder up into the light room. There's this massive reflector with a little small candle. I say small, that's wrong. That is the wrong word. It is a conical candle. It might be probably a foot tall. And it has a very large wick coming out of the top of it that seems to be almost unburnt Serinepth Cinderman. It looks very new. The candle is like this deep red wax, and in it are carved runes in like that ancient kind of common-looking stuff. Runes that read star, light, star, light, star, light, like just all around it. Just that word keeping repeatedly being the only one that's really written. Small glyphs of stars of all varieties are kind of carved into it as well. And you can kind of like look and examine this candle. And then you hear some like stuff being moved, and you hear like "I'll be with you in a moment. Just one moment," from downstairs, and you can kind of, and walk over to the windows. You can look out. You see a massive ruckus downstairs or down below happening around the cabana, like people rushing from the docks as like maybe something cool is happening down there. Who's to say? And you can kind of nod to yourself. You can look out at the sea. You can see for miles and miles in every direction, and still, even with this vantage point, probably like 160 feet up in the air, you can see no islands whatsoever on the horizon. It seems so far removed and so remote from everything else, which I don't know if it feels secure or feels a bit sinister given the circumstances of it, Serinepth. Like, at least no one you don't know is around,
Yeah.
And then you can look up into the sky. The sun shines so brightly, but just as brightly twinkles hundreds of stars up in the sky. I don't know how well you know constellations, but there's a couple that are like, it's just a brilliant field of stars, almost the same vividness as if it was a pitch black night and you were in the middle of the woods and looked up in the clear sky. It is a supernatural thing to kind of see. And then you hear like a loud clunk from downstairs, and then you hear like a ting, 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 ting of footsteps on the stairs coming up, and like a little ragged breath from the good Dr. Winstan. And then behind you, as you're looking out these windows, you can just immediately see like the glow of the light seems to have started. And it's like casting everything in like a kind of ominous glow with that red color. You can kind of turn around. The reflector spins very relaxed, like very slowly, like maybe a minute to complete a full circuit. And as you stare at that light, Serinepth, that red light, the runes are lit up in a brilliant yellow, and the glass around you almost like starts to shine with light, almost like the red light is reflecting off of it, and just like it, almost like they're mirrors of a sort. And the room is just like shining iridescent reds and yellows. It is kind of a mesmerizing sight, almost, Serinepth. And you can kind of like take it all in. It's quite beautiful. If a bit damaging to your eyes to look at it, you can squint and avert your gaze as much as possible. Looking over to the doctor as she climbs up these stairs after you. She will walk up and lean on the railing for a second, and she'll say, "Now, before I show you everything, young lady Cinderman, I should ask, if you were taken before the king now, what would you say? I know it's a regular question and something you might not wish to speak about, but have no fear. Your word is safe with me, and in this place none can hear us."
I feel like if I were to go before the king, my anger may take the best of me. I feel like I would yell. But I don't want to yell at the king. It wasn't really his fault. It was...
No. It would be a poor idea to do such a thing, provided an audience with him. And she says that, and there is a loudness behind the words in your ears, Serinepth. You almost stumble backwards and kind of catch yourself against the glass. The light turns and reflects. It passes over your face and hers, red, ominous light. And she says, "Anger would be a poor emotion to show. Show him how subservient you are, how apologetic you are for the actions you took. Do you hear what I'm saying, young lady Cinderman?"
Uh-oh.
Yes,
You're named a traitor. Your parents unnamed as well. You must stand in their place and proclaim that you are apologetic. Ask for clemency in public. Show that you are no traitor to the crown. Show that traitors can be dealt a gentle hand. Serinepth Cinderman. Can you make a wisdom saving throw for me?
Oh, God.
God.
Philip, how could you?
well, that's a 10.
Oof.
Serinepth, you feel the lights flashing, your eyes, you blink, you open them a little bit, and the starlight seems to be mesmerizing. It's almost like all those lights above in the sky, they seem so vivid, they seem so brilliant, like they're shining down into the lighthouse. Like that reflector itself is shining all those stars into your eyes. It's intoxicating, it's beautiful, it's convincing. The words the good Dr. Eleanor Winstan speaks, ask for forgiveness. Say you are sorry. Say it was never meant to be. Don't choose anger. Choose an audience. Go before him. Show the others the crown can be gentle. The crown is merciful to those who ask for forgiveness. That's what gets locked in your head. That's what you feel as the good doctor twists your mind. And that's where we'll end this episode of Trials and Trebuchets.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Sarah, could you please give us an outro?
Absolutely. Hopefully you enjoyed this very eventful Trials and Trebuchets episode. If you did, it would be fantastic if you were to leave us a rating or a review, whatever you want to do, on Apple Podcasts, any podcatcher app. We read them all. They make us so happy. They're a good time. Should you desire to see maps, teasers, fan art, other exclusive content, we have an Instagram that is at Trials and Trebs. There's some wonderful artwork there, so please do check it out. We also have a Discord server. You can chat with us, share theories with other listeners, art, just chat about your day. It's a chill spot. You can find the link to that in our episode descriptions. If you want to be a little bit extra generous, we have a Patreon. That is patreon.com/trialsandtrebs. That's where you can get really cool things like getting to make an NPC who, goes to Wildcliff, or perhaps even who doesn't. DM notes, early access to bonus episodes, getting to vote on them, C&C early access. It is a fucking treasure trove. I don't know why we also have merch.
Sales pitch.
You can check that out at
Trebmerch.com.
Stickers, t-shirts. Stickers that look like t-shirts. T-shirts that look like stickers. We have the whole shebang. It's fantastic. Hopefully you will check out Trebuchets.com. And if you don't want to do any of that, you're not feeling it, tell a friend. It means so much. We don't pay to advertise, so that really helps get the word out there. All right. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next week, unless you are binge listening, in which case we will see you in 3, 2, 1.
Bye-bye.
Bye.